So maybe I am the father of the UFOs.
Are Victor Schauberger's confiscated designs helping the U.S. build flying saucers? If so, they don't appear to help John Frost. There's nothing stunning about the results of Project Silverbug. In tests, the Avro car proves it can take off vertically, but its performance is limited by a lack of power.
In order to actually get off the ground, it had to be powered almost to full thrust. And that would just be enough to rise it into the air at about 3 feet height. And that altitude, then it could be pushed forward to about the speed of a moving car, maybe 60 kilometers an hour.
Frost proved the aerodynamic theories of disk flight could work. What he lacked was more time and money to find the power the craft needed. In 1961, the Air Force canceled Project Silverbug, and all rights to the Avro car reverted to the Department of Defense. It looked like the end of the road for man-made saucers. Or was it? Just 4 years later, in 1965, a bell-shaped object crashes in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. The U.S. military and government agencies are immediately on the scene. Eyewitnesses report that the craft is rushed to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the same place the Avro car was being tested just years before. Was the Kecksburg crash part of a secret U.S. project to continue development on flying saucers? Did it crash because, like the Avro car, it was underpowered and unstable? If the U.S. military was conducting tests with working flying saucers, they would have to be kept hidden. People would have to be silenced. Impossible? One fact is undisputed. It's been done before, in the U.S. military's black projects, at a place called Area 51. The investigation into a Nazi UFO conspiracy raises as many new questions as answers. Secret Project Silverbug documents, declassified in 1995, show the U.S. Air Force invested in the development of a supersonic, high-altitude flying saucer. The design is influenced by Second World War German designs and aeronautical engineers. But the Avro car, the version of the saucer made public, doesn't achieve its original design specifications. In 1961, the project is canceled. 5 years later, a UFO crashes in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. The U.S. military restricts all access to the scene. Eyewitness statements suggest that the object they recover is remarkably similar to a Nazi craft called the Bell. Did the U.S. military cover up a continuing saucer program based on captured Nazi technology? And if so, could the U.S. government keep it secret to this day?
It would never surprise me at all if a program back in the 1950s or the 1960s was still so secret that its existence wasn't even hinted at.
If the Air Force did continue their saucer program, there is a place they could hide it. Groom Lake in the Nevada desert, also known as Area 51. The U.S. Air Force's legendary testing range for top-secret aviation prototypes. Covering over 2,000 square miles, it's remote, desolate, and very well protected.
If you get too near Area 51, you're going to see signs, and at the bottom they say in red, these very ominous words, use of deadly force authorized.
Bill Sweetman knows Area 51. As a former aviation journalist for Jane's Defense magazine, he spent his life investigating black projects. These projects are funded by Congress, but the Department of Defense does not acknowledge their existence.
What that means is that the existence of the program itself is a secret. Its function, its purpose, its existence itself is not disclosed. Conservative estimate is that across the services and the intelligence community, we're looking at least $40 to $45 billion per year.
The secrecy surrounding Area 51 and the restrictions on employees maintain a wall of silence.
People who work in those programs are genuinely fearful that if they do become indiscreet, that they will be looking at a very long period of jail time at the very best.
Fear buys silence. In 1975, work begins on the Super Black Stealth program, the development of fighters invisible to enemy radar. The project management is run out of a secure facility at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Test flying is carried out at night.
Even the commander of Wright-Patterson didn't know what was going on.
For 13 years, the project was kept secret until 1988, when the world got its first look at the incredible F-117. Then came the blackest project of them all, the Northrop B-2 stealth bomber. Jack Northrop had long been fascinated with the idea of a flying wing, realizing the best way to reduce drag was to remove the tail and fuselage. Nazi engineers had proved it was possible in a jet with the Horton H-9.
There was actually one example of that aircraft which never flew but survived and was captured by the US, and it was stored at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
When the B-2 bomber was first revealed to the public in 1988, it bore a striking resemblance to the German H-9 flying wing and Kenneth Arnold's famous UFO sighting. Were they all part of a 50-year design process? A design process that resulted in man-made craft the public could easily mistake for UFOs? What's certain is that if these experimental craft were seen or crashed, you'd need to disinform the public immediately. That meant telling people that they weren't seeing top-secret U.S. planes. That meant suggesting these sightings were extraterrestrial, alien, from another planet.
The Air Force consciously manipulated the UFO myth in order to provide cover for the black programs that it was developing.
In 1997, the CIA admitted an active involvement in UFO disinformation.
Every time you start talking about Area 51, somebody starts talking about UFOs and small grey aliens. If that is indeed the result of a deliberate disinformation attempt, I would love to meet the person responsible and shake his hand, because it was a really, really good one.